And we're going to talk to some of these, one of my African Americans, and I believe he wants smoke. Trust me, folks, he doesn't want this smoke, okay? I know smoke. I just sold a smoke-filled building to the Chinese yesterday. What say you, caller, about Colin Kaepernick? He's fired. He's a disaster. What say you? What say you, caller, about Colin Kaepernick?
Okay, what I say about Colin Kaepernick is that he's an American. Now, if you want to make America great, like you're stating that you're trying to make it, well, what I'll say is you're un-American on everything that you're preaching right now.
You're very low energy, sir. You're very low energy. Just like Jeb Bush, I'd say.
Jeb Bush is a criminal. Just like the rest of the Americans are criminals. Matter of fact, you, sir, are a direct criminal.
I know criminals. I happen to know criminals. Trust me. Believe me, folks. Criminals. I know criminals. That's why I'm building the wall.
Yeah, you know a criminal because you look in the mirror every day. And that's the part that you need to understand. Look at everything that you're talking about. You're talking about it's un-American. Going against the flag. You going against the flag by telling somebody if they should stand up for it.
Sir, you should apologize.
You feel
I'll
that
give you a chance to apologize. We're waiting.
Say that one more time, sir.
We're waiting for you to apologize, sir, for talking about our great country. And I know great. Believe me, folks, I do know great. And you're a disaster.
Well, I'll say what great is this, is that we're allowed to speak out against anything that we feel that is unjust. That's what makes us American. So if you feel that
Hillary,
somebody is standing up for our rights, then you should leave, sir, and take your ass back to Europe.
Well, I think it's pretty evident because Kaepernick is not in our great NFL. He's not a part of our great country. And frankly, I think he's a disaster.
Well, the reason why he's not part of the NFL is because that's a systematic racism that they're using to use on him. He's in a prime example that there is systematic racism within America. Don't you understand that, you imbecile?
I have so many African Americans that contribute to this great country, and sir, I do think you're a disaster.
Of course you're going to think I'm a disaster, and then you're talking about contributing. African American, how about built it all by ourselves? Built the country's on our back. So how can you sit here and say that, call somebody out about standing up for their God-given rights against human rights? Do you understand what he's standing up for?
So you think that's wonderful to disrespect our service members and our great flag and, frankly, this great country? And trust me, folks, I know great, and you're not great.
Well, I can say the same thing about you. It depends on what lens you're looking through, who you could describe as great. So that goes both ways, sir.
Well, you seem to be a crooked Hillary supporter, so there must not be any getting. Matter of fact, crooked Hillary has been brainwashing people. I've given to her campaign.
I'm against Hillary too. She's a pedophile to go along with that pedophilia that's going on in Washington that you serve, you self-interest hypocrites are up there molesting the nation and the world. So I'm against crooked Hillary myself.
Sir, you seem to have a wonderful temperament. Your temperament is so wonderful. Your temperament is so off. The American people, and most people, matter of fact, raise your hands if you love Donald Trump.
There's no hands being raised. Not on my side. What I will say is this. You people, and I'm talking about you un-American Republican,
the only ones that's un-American
Democratic,
are those who don't stand for the flag, sir. Would you say that not standing for our flag is American?
People don't have to stand for the flag. That's not un-American. That's like being American means that you can protest. You can protest against something for rights.
I'll tell you what. I think every owner, general manager in the NFL should look at every player. If you don't stand for the national anthem, I'm telling you folks, trust me, standing is not that hard. If you don't stand,
what I'll say is this: it shows that the players don't have a backbone.
He's fired.
Because they should have all stood down for the whole American society. If one person is getting done, is not being shown their human rights, that's against every American in the United States.
Sir, how can you accept the disrespect to our service members? How can you accept that? The disrespect to our service members, and frankly, I would say everyone who cares about this great country, you're disrespecting, sir.
The country should be disrespected. Because if you want to really be respectful, you need to start paying reparations to the indigenous black nations that was already here.
Now, I have many African-American friends. Trust me, believe me when I tell you, I know African-Americans, and they are, the least thing in their mind is reparations. They're trying to get behind me and make this country great again.
The only way you can make the country great again is by people like you dying early. That's how the country will be back great again. And until you are in your coffin and like-minded people like you with that particular ideology, you should be destroyed.
You're obviously a Ben Carson supporter. I don't know about those 7-day Adventists. I just don't know.
I'm not a supporter of any group, any political party. I'm not affiliated. I'm for human rights, and I'm for everybody trying to grow. That's a real America, a melting pot. That's what we want to represent. That's inclusive. We want to be an inclusive nation. We are against separation.
It seems that you may be a Kim Jong-un supporter. Is that what it looks like? Is that what it looks like to you? Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I'll tell you this. You can't possibly say you want to make America great again when you're a Putin supporter. That's a definitely no-no. So you explain that, sir. Until you're able to explain that, you're un-American, you're a criminal, and you should be slaughtered.
I think, frankly, we've settled that debate. We know that the Russians did not help our campaign, but the Clintons will keep putting that narrative out. Frankly, folks, I'm not concerned about it one bit. I'm more concerned about...
Of course you're not worried about it. And the narrative is never going to change because you guys make up the narrative.
Well,
so
I'll tell you what.
How could it change? So that only means that the rest of the government, establishment is complicit to your criminal activity.
Sir, frankly, people like you are the reason why I propose building a wall. And folks, believe me, this is going to be a great wall. This is going to be the greatest wall that you've ever seen. This wall is going to be so high.
Look at you wasting money on a wall that doesn't even need to be
folks. Believe me.
You got to change the ideology.
And who's going to pay for it? That's right, Mexico and the African Americans. What say you, sir?
Well, what I'll say is this. Push the button and be done with everything.
Well, this is the last thing I'll say. Live from Tulsa, it's the iiTTcast. Man, good to see you. Hey, you're trending with the iiTTcast. You're trending it with WD3 and my moderator Magoo.
This is it.
3 O's. And today, Magoo.
Got that right.
Today, we're gonna talk about credit.
Wish I had about a 700 something. You know, but what it do?
Now, we know that the major credit agencies, reporting agencies, are supposed to keep the record straight. And when they don't, there's something to pay. Now, according to U.S. News, Equifax to pay up to $700 million.
I wish I was in that.
In a data breach settlement. Now, you say you wish you were in that? You would have got like $4. Credit reporting company Equifax has agreed to pay up to $700 million in settlements with Federal Trade Commission and other agencies following a data breach in 2017. 147 million people were affected by this data breach, and Equifax was ordered to pay over $700 million in a settlement. A lot of people were cynically saying that we just won a grand whopping $5 a piece, but I think it's more important the story of the credit agency having the data breach than the money, because do you know what the nature of these data breaches could be?
Man, hackers love to have fun.
Huh.
In the internet world, tech world, man, that's a hacker's amusement park.
Right.
Six Flags, Universal Studios, Boat Coast, all rolled in one.
I had saw a text where
let's get medieval on.
Where Donald Trump was like, man, it needs to be 150,000 a piece, and they need to abolish the agency. So he's taking a hard line on this particular case.
He got some cases pending and whatnot. I'm pretty sure he would like for one of the businesses to go bye bye. They could help clear some of
his madness. Now here, let's go ahead and back it up and kind of broaden it out. You have credit scores and credit agencies along with banks. They have been the real core of what we know in America as racism. Because you can dislike me all day long, but if I can get a bank loan and if I can rely on getting the same services as you with the same or similar credit score, then I don't care if you don't like me or not. But the banks have
to suck it up and like, hi neighbor.
Right, exactly. So I want to keep an eye on this because the credit agencies, they have been a part of oppression in America for a long time. And if they're making mistakes, that means that all the people who haven't been qualifying for different loans and things, those could have been false diagnoses.
Okay, look, how come the numbers keep switching? I see one that says Equifax to pay $700 million in a settlement, and another one, Viral News says $575 million over 200. Equifax ordered to pay $575 million over 217 data breach that affected 150 million people. Which one is it? Is it 700 million? Is it 575 million?
Whichever one is not enough. I mean, for what they're supposed to stand for, and
where do you get $5 if it's only 150 people?
Well, you got 147 million people and only $700 million settlement. That means that you divide what? You got $6 a piece.
Hey, America, let's do the math. It says 150 million people, right?
Right. So $700 million divided amongst 147 million people. You don't get a whole bunch of money per person. That's a
divide by 150. Yeah, I'm just getting ready to say that is a huge number, man.
$4.60 a
Ain't
piece.
that a shame?
Well, so much ado about nothing. I guess they got a slap on the wrist. So.
It's that season when we pull up, we knocking and sitting clean. Offsets, got them tucked on the X, light up the screens. Hit the function, pull a whip out the people ain't never seen. Off the lot, but I probably go coat that bitch money green. Keep the rallies on the classic. Be careful if we smoking, pay attention when you pass it. This interior expensive, I eat with the superiors. Call for the name they mention, and everything is serious. More to give them the business. Yeah, parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Chevys, Lacks, and Buicks like OGs and players do it. Beamers, Benz, and Bentleys build a hustler's endurance. So it's a bag we securing. Tryna cop that Lambo in that Ferrari off of music and touring. So ain't no taking no breaks. Nah. Still pull up and stun in they face. We went up on these niggas, I was expecting to hate. Bitches love when they see me be tryna dive in the whip. Cause they know if I'm speaking, I'm talking dollars and cents. Yeah. Parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Vibration got them looking around like who is that? Situation, let the new single pound and bring it back. In the parking lot, make sure they hear me before they see me in the parking lot. Make sure it's shining and paint is gleaming, let the music play while I roll up and sit on my hood. See me. Pop at a bitch while making a jug. Cause she just tryna ride while I'm speeding. One hand on the thigh, my tires screech. Nigga, parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them. Parking lot is looking like a car show. When we stepping out, we looking like some stars, ho. Designer custom pieces and some bad bitches. Always remind them without trying, we gon' still kill them.
This story right here. Now, we just saw that Iran and the U.S. have actually been trading shots in the Gulf of Hormuz. I believe that they both shot one of those drones down recently.
I seen some other footage where two planes almost collide in Sweden and America planes, something like that.
Wow. So we have a lot going on geopolitically, and I personally think that we're headed for war with Iran, and I think it's ramping up. According to World News, Iran says it has arrested 17 CIA operatives. Iran said it has arrested 17 Iranian nationals allegedly recruited by the CIA to spy on the country's nuclear and military sites, and that some of them have already been sentenced to death. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo dismissed the claim. So this guy, Pompeo, and all these guys in the U.S. government hired these 17 guys, allegedly, to spy on Iran. They get caught, and some of them get sentenced to death, and Pompeo says, well, I dismiss it. Wow. Is that a guy you want to work for? Mike Pompeo. What a clown.
History.
Wow. So
This is huge because now we have to see what retaliation the United States would have against Iran for this. This is a pretty huge story that we're going to be keeping an eye on because things are really, really, really ramping up in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, and the tension between Iran and U.S. is getting thick. Definitely some biblical times going on right now.
That's deep, man.
Wow. So, any words on that before we move on?
That's just. I'm just thinking. Only thing that comes to mind during that is chess. There's some big chess moves. Some chess moves. Big chess games going on and whatnot. Like, it's messed up. The real casualties are unwilling and unknowing participants, as far as the American people and the Iran people and whatnot. And like, you know, when it comes down to that type of stuff, oil, big land stuff, that, you know, little guy, the minority, they don't have nothing to do with that. It's not ours.
I would also tell people on your own to go ahead and research Albert Pike. His name is Albert Pike. You will be blown away with the information you'll learn on that. Albert Pike, he is the author of Morals and Dogma. He wrote a letter in 1871 that was predicting or laying out the 3 world wars. It's very interesting. But Albert Pike, go check that out.
Ain't there only 2 wars though?
Well, he spelled out the ramp up and the result and the World War III to a T, and he described World War I and II in 1871.
Right, so we're gonna be looking out for World War III.
Wow. So, speaking of turmoil in the world, Mr.
Overseas,
Mr. ASAP Rocky. Now, did you hear about the case, ASAP Rocky, his case, and what went down in Sweden?
Admiral Guy, he basically took up for a female who was being harassed by a male.
Wow.
And he stepped in and did the what they call a chivalrous thing.
Wow, so he was over there in
Sweden. He stood up for the ladies' honor in Sweden and gave the guy a swift ass kicking.
So, wow, so we'll get into the story. According to the U.S. News, Trump says he had a good call with the Swedish PM about ASAP Rocky. Now, this goes to show you how big hip-hop is across the world if you just look at the story through that lens, because this is a hip-hop artist, ASAP Rocky, and he was able to make it to the prominence level to where his cases are being dealt with by the United States president. This is it's an unfortunate situation for ASAP, but this is big for hip-hop, the fact that we're getting this type of support. So if Trump solves this, shout out to him. I mean, I'm an equal opportunity shouter-outer. All right, so on Friday, the president said that he spoke to Kanye West about rapper ASAP Rocky, who is currently being held in Sweden, a Swedish prison, without charges following a street fight. Trump later said that he called the Prime Minister of Sweden, who assured him that the rapper would be treated fairly. So, we are definitely concerned about this case. We'd like to see ASAP Rocky back to the States and back home safely. Shout out to him if he did this courageous act, and hopefully we can get past the police mumbo jumbo and get this guy back home. Shout out to Donald Trump for actually putting forth the effort on that.
Not so fast. I mean, it could be what they call those publicity. You know, got the 2020 coming up. He just put his foot in his mouth when he just told for minority women to go back to where you can't come from and whatnot.
Was one of those minority women his wife?
No.
But
he had to redeem himself, and I've been following I think the Kardashian campaign. Kim has been on I guess she's becoming an activist, humanitarian, and over the summer and earlier in the year, she's been to the White House to talk about the criminal justice system. She's been there to talk about the what was that? The pardon. Who was that? She asked for appeal for his future husband. A pardon for Alice Marie Johnson. She went there and spoke on her behalf. She's been there doing some
let's
humanitarian political stuff lately.
Well, Trump said, he tweeted himself about this case. He said, just had a very good call with Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven, who assured me that the American citizen APROCKY will be treated fairly. Likewise, I assured him that ASAP was not a flight risk and offered to personally vouch for his bail or an alternative. So if we get this young man ASAP back home safely, that's good enough for me. We'll deal with Trump later.
It was even messed up to the fact of where as soon as this broke, I guess I forget what news company or newspaper got it wrong, but they put Trey K's, the gentleman that just got sentenced to murder, he put his face on this article.
Could have been intentionally unintentional. Could have been a Freudian slip.
It's crazy how this world works in media and publicity.
Well, now, speaking of super events that's going on around the world, we'll stay on the super theme. Now, the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel made a big announcement, and a lot of people in the comic book superhero, action hero world are very excited about this. Marvel wows fans with 10 projects in packed Phase 4 lineup. The movie studio revealed 10 new films and shows in their Phase 4 2020-2021 slate, and Marvel stans could not, well, I'm sure that's supposed to be fans, could not believe their eyes. But rarely do you see a typo on Twitter. But
this is that big, no less.
Right, fans. That's a tough word to spell. Anyway, so this is pretty exciting. What do you think about what Marvel's doing?
Great if they can get the numbers right, because once again, they don't stick with the program. You say 10, I see 7. Man, stop playing with people's emotions.
You know, I'd be very interested to see how many minority lead, or how many black or Hispanic or Asian superheroes that are on slate to come out. I think that would be important.
Without any spoiler alerts on any names or who it might be, what type of powers.
It's pretty interesting. I'm not as up on it in the comic book world as I should be with Marvel, but whenever I do get a chance to check one of them out, I usually enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to the projects they have come out, and shout out to Marvel, and make sure you guys keep an eye on that. So
I can dig that.
I can dig that. Now we'll get to a spot on here we usually reserve for Donald Trump, but today ain't that a shame. That's definitely gonna be for
we're still working on that.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna go out to Mr. Al Franken. Now, we'll get into it from the U.S. News. New Yorker piece examines sexual misconduct allegations that force Al Franken to resign from the Senate. Now, reporter Jane Mayer took a closer look at the accusations against the former senator who announced his intentions to resign in 2017 following accusations of sexual impropriety. Now, this guy was in the U.S. Senate. He was supposed to be one of the shining lights of our country, example for everyone around the world of what a U.S. citizen is. And I think he pulled it off, because this is a lot of what's going on, and a lot of what we hear on the news. It seems like these type of cases and silly, senseless murders of teens by the police or anybody because it doesn't like rap music too loud. This stuff is getting out of hand, Goop.
Out of hand. It's my outtake or my it won't. It's part of the food chain. It's the way of life. It's the yin and the yang. It's a circle. I mean, I am blessed and fortunate to be on the humane side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm better than anyone or I'm righteous or holier than thou, but the plain black and white, good, bad, good versus evil, that manner, I'm definitely not evil. So
now, it seems that a lot
I would
of
place that on the evil side. This type of stuff is evil. I'm blessed and glad and thank my lucky stars that I'm not evil. I don't have an evil ball in my body when it comes to that. That's just...
It seems that a lot of people are actually 2 years later, they're backing Al Franken. The people who were trying to force him out of the Senate, a lot of them are actually kind of turning to the other side and they're backing Al Franken. Some of them are saying that when they forced him out, they really shouldn't have. At least 7 of them are retracting that.
I mean, what does forcing him out have to do with it? Because you forced him out and made him go do that? That don't make sense.
Well, they're backtracking. This lady is Jane Meyer is taking a closer look at the case, and she says she's finding a lot of holes in the accuser's stories, and a lot of the senators are now saying, well, you know, we made a mistake a couple years ago when we forced Al Franken out. In my opinion, whether he did it or not, I don't like the guy. I don't agree with his politics, and I think he probably should have never been elected, in my opinion. I don't think he had a lot of qualifications to be in the Senate in the first place. He was basically just a personality. He wasn't really a great thinker in politics. But yeah, we'll see what this case. It says, according to Zach Cohen, 7 current and U.S. former senators who demanded Franken's resignation in 2017 told me that they've been wrong to do so.
I'm lost. So he is guilty or found not guilty?
Well, the accusations were so embarrassing as a U.S. senator that he resigned and he was forced out even by a few of his colleagues. But now that there's further investigation into this case, a lot of the colleagues who forced him out are saying that they've been wrong to do that. It was Senator Leahy, one of the biggest mistakes I've made. So Leahy is one of the ones. Angus King, senator, independent senator, said this was the political equivalent of capital punishment. So a lot of them are turning and they're backing Franken as more evidence comes out. I'm really not too familiar with the case, but I'm familiar with the clown.
Okay, wait, so... But again, in this case, what's what they say? I'm gentleman enough to admit if I'm wrong or not. Okay, I had to get the story right. I am in no way accusing him or saying he's guilty of anything, because that's not what the story is saying. Basically, this is just a reprint of something that happened to him in 2017, and this is not, the case is not over with, or
right.
Pretty much he's
more info is coming out.
He hasn't been found guilty, so so basically they're just recapping that they were wrong to even force a guy to resign without due process, right. As far as like cops.
Well,
if a cop goes on administrative leave because the shots fired on the job, and basically they pretty much send them home with pay until the investigation's over. Now, if you
Well, why didn't he just stand strong and fight? Why didn't he just fight for his reputation?
If somewhere within the ranks, someone in there is pressuring you or peer pressuring you to like, hey, you need to get out of here, you need to quit, whoop-de-whoop, before the investigation is even over.
But
then
Magoo, R. Kelly, he kept doing concerts through the accusations. He said he was not guilty, so he kept working. He kept fighting. You had, who was the other? Bill Cosby. He kept doing his thing. He tried to stay out of the limelight, but he fought his case to the very end. Why would this guy resign? Why are you resigning? Fight. You're a senator. You never made it to Senate in your life. This is a lifetime achievement.
I'm glad you asked because I have the perfect answer, especially the way you put that. Shouts out or respect to R. Kelly and Mr. Cosby. R. Kelly because he again proven innocent until proven guilty. And Mr. Cosby again because I'm in your corner. But reason why, the difference in that is like, okay, take the same guys, all three of them, take them back to their childhood. The electric gets cut off. What are the actions of those three? Salute.
Bless you.
Two of those know how to adapt and survive.
Right.
One of them was like the world came to an end.
Well, a lot of people feel like
we're built back against the wall. Man, I'm gonna keep doing what we do.
I think
the embarrassment level and the level this guy is from a different cloth.
I think you also have to add in the element that Al Franken is an open homosexual in the Senate. So you still have in the Senate.
That was hard to do in itself.
Yeah, in the Senate, you have still a lot of the old biases that in normal society haven't gone away. The Senate is still living like it's 1950 in their thinking and in their processes. So yeah, I think there would be no problem for them to say homosexual, you must be guilty.
In his case, like you said,
I just don't like Al Franken's politics.
And in his case, it could have got to the level where he's been threatened letters and whatnot.
But if you're innocent, you're innocent. I would say this, and I'll look into this.
That's a different skin. He ain't got alligator skin, man.
But let me tell you this.
Skin.
If you are a person, this is what's putting the fly in your ointment, Goo. The false accusers. They're putting the fly in the ointment because how many cases that can really get justice and protect women are being muddied up and muddled by some cases where nobody buys it. It looks like in this case the person is saying the investigator is saying there's so many holes in the accuser's story. My problem with Al Franken is why'd you resign?
Because you got two type of people. Some people fold and some don't.
He's a folder. Get him out of here. Kenny Rogers just folded, so forget him. Get him out of here. Al Franken. See ya.
Some fold.
You shouldn't have resigned because it looks like some more information's coming out. It could have saved your reputation, but bye.
I told you he don't have that thick skin.
Okay, so you didn't choose to fight.
You're not cut for that game.
It's all you. Magoo say you're not cut from the cloth.
Yeah,
you're not cut from
that game.
You're not ready.
He's not a politician.
He's not a politician.
Politician, they cutthroat. Real politicians cutthroat.
Well, Al Franken, he showed his true colors. He got a little hot under the collar.
In that business.
Bill Clinton didn't even resign from the presidency when he was caught with Monica Lewinsky with the stain on his dress.
You gotta be cut from that cloth.
So Bill Clinton.
You ever seen that movie Heat?
Yeah, I seen that.
You gotta be able to walk away in 5 seconds. So
okay.
Everything. Like,
wow.
You gotta be that G.
So if everybody was weak as Al Franken, then Hillary Clinton, everybody would have resigned a long time ago. So fight for your reputation, dude. That was weak resigning. Anyways.
That's his legacy he was playing with.
Yeah.
So, especially if he's clean. Especially if
you didn't do it.
Yeah, it comes out that you're innocent, you did all that and
you quit. Make you look like, hey, you either Kenny Rogers.
They don't even want you back at the job if you're clear because
gotta go through a whole new election.
You folded.
Without a say, you can't say you're strong in the next election. Like, I'll fight for you. They're like, yeah, right.
Next.
Right, next. Thank you. Next. All right. So, hey, thanks for tuning in with the iiTTcast. This is your host, WD3. This is my moderator, Magoo. Hey, make sure you leave your comments below. We appreciate all the comments. We read them all. We talk about them. We talk about you all who make the comments. We talk about all the subscribers and all the groups we're part of. And we love networking with you. So, make sure you guys contact us.
Magoo Vision at Twitter, iiTTcast at Twitter, WD3_Black Guy at Twitter, and in the great words of Kenny Rogers, you gotta know when to fold them,
and know when to hold them, and know when to fold them.
Know when to hold them.
And we out. Peace.